Hello everyone, and welcome to the banner analysis, Mifu edition. So, let's start with Mifu herself, and then we'll quickly go over her weapon banner. Mifu is a physical greatsword guard, designed to be a crush carry, with some physical susceptibility as a utility tool. She has one of the highest damage ceilings in the game as of 1.3, is good in both multi and single target scenarios, and has very flexible team options. On the other hand, she is extremely reliant on vulnerability stacks in order to deal damage, and can be very SP hungry and a bit awkward to play when not utilizing her combo skill and ultimate properly, making her rotations rather rigid. As she is new, I will quickly explain what she does and what her game plan is for those of you unfamiliar with her kit yet. Majority of Mifu's damage comes from the crush reaction, which she can apply exclusively through her battle skill. This battle skill introduces a new mechanic to the game, multi-part skills. What this means is casting her skill consecutively changes its properties with each cast. The first cast is a low damage AoE pull, good for grouping enemies in front of you. It costs 100 SP and refunds 50. The second cast is a moderate damage crush applying hit. It can only be used in 3 scenarios: shortly after using first cast, shortly after using the combo skill, and shortly after using the ultimate. It costs 50 SP. The third cast is a high damage hit with good range. Notably, its damage counts as crush without applying or consuming any vulnerability stacks, which matters more than you might think, as art's intensity will increase this skill's damage, while battle skill damage up will not. It can only ever be casted shortly after the second cast if it consumed at least 3 vulnerability stacks through the crush. It also costs 50 SP. Her combo skill and ultimate are rather unremarkable in terms of damage, but play an important role in her rotations as utility tools, as they both skip the first cast of Mifu's battle skill, allowing for cheaper and faster damage bursts. Additionally, the combo skill, triggering on 3 or more vulnerability stacks being applied to an enemy with a 19-second cooldown, also applies long-lasting but low-value physical susceptibility, while her ultimate applies lift, so an additional vulnerability stack. As for her talents, both of them further increase the utility of her combo skill. The first one by increasing battle skill 3's damage multiplier on enemies with physical susceptibility, which is usually the case because battle skill 2 applies a long-lasting one, and the second giving her a 30% HP shield on combo skill cast every 60 seconds. Normally I wouldn't be saying anything about basic attacks, but I think it's important that I mention them in this case, as Mifu has some of the best in the game, offering great damage, stagger and SP recovery, as well as very smooth animations and great animation cancelling potential. So, from this, you can clearly see just what she's about. Against single targets, you want to quickly apply 4 stacks of vulnerability to chain her combo skill into battle skill 2 and 3 for big boy crush damage, after which you want to repeat it and do the same with her ultimate and battle skill 2 and 3. Repeating this over and over is the bread and butter of playing Mifu, and it deals very high damage and stagger if done properly. Against multi-targets, you basically want to do the same, except use your battle skill 1 to group enemies up first, before going for the crush combos. Now that we know what she does and how she does it, let's get to why you're really here. What does she bring to the account, and is it good enough to justify pulling on her banner? Outside of the unique way her battle skill works, Mifu doesn't bring anything new to the table in terms of team building. What she does bring is improvement of the established teams that we already have. As she is a crush carry, she is naturally going to be slotting into physical teams as the main damage source, competing with these two. Now, unfortunately for our Endmin and the Pan here, this is barely a competition, as they are outclassed in pretty much every way. Mifu has higher damage ceiling than those two, mainly because of the ability to apply twice as many crushes in the same time frame, while also being more consistent, not relying on as many external factors in order to deal optimal damage. Add to that her utility and survivability, as well as grouping, which is a much welcome rarity in physical teams, and she very clearly outclasses the previous options. As physical teams were already really strong, this puts Mifu at the top of the roster as one of the best damage dealing operators. So if you care purely about the strongest meta teams right now, she is very much a character you want. If you really like physical teams and want to make them even more powerful, she is also your character. For any newcomers watching this, Mifu is also a fantastic first carry to get, as she is not only incredibly strong, her teams are also very flexible and can employ many free-to-play characters. So you won't have trouble finding her suitable teammates even with a small roster typical for new accounts. Now, when is she not as good of a pull for your account? Firstly, if you already have other strong damage carries like Fungi and Rossi and don't feel the need to expand to a third team, you can safely skip her, unless you really want to play her with Rossi in one team, which is a fine option in of itself. And secondly, if you have a highly invested Leviathan and not enough pulls to spare, I refrain from getting Mifu for now, as Camille is likely to improve Lay's performance quite a bit, as she is still stuck with her 1.0 team comp as of now, making her fall a little behind the current strongest. So, to sum it up, pull if you need a strong carry with flexible team slotting, want to improve your physical teams, or are playing purely for top current meta. Skip if you already have well-established carries with invested teams that clear content without issue, or if you want to improve your Leviathan team in near future. Obviously, this is just my advice, use your own judgment in making the ultimate decision here. Lastly, quick breakdown of her weapon banner. Her signature weapon is naturally her best option, and if you have the arsenal tickets to spare, I recommend getting it. This is because the difference in weapons is especially noticeable for damage carries when compared to other roles, as their usefulness is directly tied to how much damage they can dish out, something that weapons obviously impact very much. So yeah, if there are any characters not to save your arsenal tickets on, these are definitely them. If however you're broke or simply really don't want it, outside of Phantom Pain, Exemplar is a decent choice if you have it. Thunder Prince is also an acceptable stat stick. As for non-6-star options, Ancient Canal is quite good for a 5-star. As far as Amaranthine Tassel's usefulness outside of Mifu goes, it is also the new best in slot for the pan. Do with that information what you want. If you want to spend your arsenal tickets for that, go ahead. As for the other weapons on this banner, Former Refinery is only good on defenders, and that class barely exists right now. Thunder Prince is quite good on Last Ride and the Pan, as well as passable on Mifu herself, as I already mentioned. Cannibal is only really good on Wolfguard and only Sam teams. Rapid Ascent is a somewhat mediocre option for all the physical sorties. Detonation Unit is a really good support weapon for several operators, and Valiant is only really useful on Lifeng. So overall, not too bad for off-rate rate up pull, but nothing amazing either. Alright, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, consider subscribing and liking this video. I'd be very grateful if you did. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!